Welcome to week 5 of this series on being present. And this week we explore the heart some more, but this time from the perspective of the sacred space of the heart. And in this, we're going into what the indigenous cultures of the world and the ancient mystery schools knew about the heart, that it is indeed the seat of all wisdom, that we know more when we're in the heart, we open more to spirit, to our higher self, to just knowing when we're in the heart. There are so many benefits, as I went through with HeartMath. And of course, what the HeartMath Institute and other scientific bodies of work that study the heart now know is that they're validating what these cultures knew thousands and thousands of years ago about the heart. But in this video, I'm going to go into this in a little bit more depth, because what the science has found is what's immediately there with the heart. We just know, we can switch on our intuition. But in actual fact, the sacred space of the heart is something quite different. And I'll go into that in more detail in a few minutes. Now, I will say about the heart that as we come into the heart more, we begin to dissolve the protective layers or walls or shields that we place around our heart as we go through life. Virtually everybody has this protection around the heart, and it will have arisen out of our experiences through life. If we've suffered loss, trauma, been hurt or heartbroken, and we have certain fears around the heart, we build up layers and layers and layers of what we think of as protection, in an effort to protect us or prevent us from experiencing this again. It doesn't quite work like that, but that's another topic. So when we do this heart-based work, we begin to dissolve these walls, and that's a good thing. It will lead to more peace, more openness, more love, but at times it will be probably quite painful dissolving these layers or walls. You might re-experience what you've buried by building a wall around the heart. And it's one of the reasons why I begin this course on being present with from a more kinesthetic point of view. It's why I start with the body, the emotions, the breath, and the heart, because the more we inhabit the body and our feelings-based body, the easier and faster it is to move through potential pain that may arise. Next week, we'll explore the mind and being present from the perspective of the mind and from being the witness. But that is a lot easier once we get this grounding within the body. And as I've already mentioned also, this series of short videos are taster sessions on being present. I do intend to do a course where we go into this in a much fuller way, in a much richer way, with more detailed, longer meditations that really take you into the space of being present to yourself, present to your life. And I will also go into the theory of presence a lot more, and also into my own experiences of this, because it's taken me probably on and off about 20, if not 30 years to do this work of being present, because I'm by nature a very spacey, dissociated type of person. So I've had to work very hard to come into the body and into being present. And I'm not there all the time. I don't think people who by nature are what you could call space cadets ever fully inhabit their body or be present. It's something that we have to continuously work at, but it becomes easier. I'm certainly a lot more present in everyday life than I was 10 years ago, for instance. So I know a lot about being present from this perspective of doing this work on myself. So to the heart itself, we have so many expressions that are heart-based, such as the heart knows, the heart has its own memory. Listen to your heart, put your heart into it. And you have to wonder where these expressions come from. It's I would say, an instinctive knowing of the wisdom of the heart that could be genetic memories, from cultural unconsciousness, from past life memories, of that knowing of the heart that, as I say, these ancient cultures knew about. So it's interesting that we already know this. Now, as to the sacred space of the heart itself, this becomes easier to enter this space, because when I first did this work on entering the sacred space of the heart, I could do HeartMath breathing. Anybody can do the HeartMath breathing because it's a wonderfully simple and powerful way of coming into the heart. But this extra dimension of coming into what you could also call the center of the heart is, as I say, something quite different. And when I first practiced this, probably about 15 years ago, I didn't have a clue what I was doing and I experienced nothing. It's only as I began to understand exactly what this space is that I began to have more experiences here and utilized it in a way that made it much, much easier to contact the higher aspects of self, to contact guides, because it's from this space that we truly make that contact. We're not going out of our body into somewhere else to make these contacts, but the fullest expression of being able to communicate openly and freely with the higher aspects of self, with our guidance from whatever divine powers you subscribe to. It's actually within the space of the heart, because within this deep, sacred or secret space of the heart, there's a quality of energy where we go past or beyond the physical, we go beyond the dimension that we're in, and we enter a field that you can only describe as quantum, where there is no time or space or physicality. And it's the meeting point, or a sacred meeting point, of all that we are, all that we've ever been or ever will be. So it's a space that could contain everything we've ever known from all our lifetimes and beyond lifetimes, from higher aspects of self, all the way back to perhaps first separation from source or God, whatever you want to call universal consciousness. It's a place where we experience absolute unity consciousness when we fully inhabit it. So there's a lot in this space, and there's a lot we can do here. As I say, it's easier to communicate with divinity. It's easier to know or make decisions about what to do, as if we've explored from HeartMath. But it's that knowing or making decisions again takes on this extra dimension. Sorry. As we come into a space of perhaps a more divine knowing of what we need to do or what our path is. If there's something in our life, for instance, we desire to manifest, you could come into this sacred space and get a sense of, is this really the right thing for me to manifest? And then go about this from this almost quantum point of no time, space, or physicality, and bring that manifestation into your visual sense, your knowing, your feelings, your mind, and then bring it into your life. So there's a lot you can do from this space. And my experience of doing this comes from a teacher called Drunvalo Melchizedek. And I did his Flower of Life workshop in the 90s, and then met him in person when he did this workshop called the Earth Sky workshop. And he took us through a meditation called the Unity Breath, which I'm going to do briefly before we do this, because in his work on the sacred space of the heart, he says at first we need to come into this almost sacred space before we even begin to enter the heart. Now, the technique for doing this mostly comes from his book, The Sacred Space of the Heart, and with a few variations of my own. So we'll go through this now, and as you're preparing yourself for meditation, getting yourself comfortable, just know that you might experience nothing the first time you do this, and that's fine. I'll ask you to look around, use vision, but you may not be very visual, or there may be no visuals in this first experience. You may instead just know something, feel something, or hear sounds, tones, or music. However you experience it is how you experience it this time, and it may be different the next time. So making sure you're comfortable, back as straight as possible, arms and legs uncrossed. Just let your eyes close. And start just by bringing your attention to the heart. Taking a deep breath in from the heart, breathing back out, breathing into that powerful electromagnetic torus field, centered at the heart, that moves in and out of the heart and around your body. Breathing in deeply and breathing out, perhaps a little longer on the out breath, just beginning to relax down into the body. And now we first do the unity breath. So I'd like you to imagine yourself somewhere in nature, somewhere you've been that's beautiful, that kind of makes your heart sing, or where you feel deeply peaceful. And looking around or remembering this beautiful place in nature, begin to feel love and gratitude for the earth, for Mother Earth herself. Thinking about the bounty that's on the earth, the variety, all that's provided for us on the earth, the beauty, and allow a feeling of deep gratitude and love. Allow your heart to fill with this love. And then taking all that love and gratitude for the earth, place it in a small golden sphere inside your heart. Feel as if that love is concentrated here. And then send that down through your body, past your feet and into the earth herself. As if you're posting the Earth Mother a message of love. Knowing that she is receiving this. And be open to or feel or just know that the earth is responding to this love. That she loves you absolutely and is sending that back up into your heart. So knowing you have received that love back from the earth, breathe that through your heart. And now bringing to mind the cosmos, the wonder, the awe-inspiring nature of the universe, of the galaxies, and beyond. And thinking about universal source, God, source of all that is, divinity, whatever your name is for this. Allow yourself to feel love and gratitude for the life that this has given you. every connection you've ever felt. Intuitive knowing, guidance. Come into a space of gratitude and love for this. And then placing all of that love into a small golden sphere, concentrating all that love here. Send that up out of your body and into the heavens. Knowing that that is received. And then be open to, or just know that that has been replied to with love. Know that you are deeply loved and that this love is within your heart and returning to your heart. And now allowing these two energies from the earth and from above combine within your heart. Bring your attention once more down into your heart. And imagine that before you, you're standing at the entranceway to a portal. Or a doorway. And within this entrance is that sacred space. And you find yourself slowly entering this space. So step through into the sacred space of your heart now. And just take a few moments to breathe. Just breathe in this space. Allow yourself to expand into this space. And then be open to what's here. You might ask that light comes in, that the space is illuminated so you can see what's here. If you can't see anything, then allow yourself to feel the space. Or simply know that you're here. Or hear sounds or tones. You may feel the need to say thank you for allowing me to be in this sacred space. knowing that this is your space. This is part of who you are. So just take a minute or two to familiarize yourself more deeply with this place. And just knowing that for today, all we're doing is visiting this space. Nothing needs to happen here. Also know that there's an even deeper sacred space within the heart. This isn't even the center of the center yet. We can go deeper in. But for today, simply familiarize yourself with being here. And now we're going to very slowly and gently make our way out of this space. So heading back towards that entranceway, coming back out, and simply being within the heart from a normal HeartMath breath. So now we're just focused back in our body, back in the here and now, with that focus upon our heart. Breathing in and breathing out, that continuous field. Knowing that by what you've done today, even if you experienced very little, just the act of intending to do this will have strengthened that field around your heart. Knowing that as you break down those walls around the heart, by being in the heart, you're strengthening this field and setting up protection around yourself. Living, breathing, powerful protection. So now taking another deep breath, but this time becoming aware of your whole body. Feel your feet wherever they're resting. Feel the weight of your hands. Feel the connection of your hands to your heart. Perhaps move your hands and your feet a little, just bringing normal everyday waking awareness back into your body, your mind. Being aware of the space around you, the room that you're in, any sounds that you can hear. Just slowly and gently coming all the way back to normal waking awareness. And only when you're completely ready, you can let your eyes open, perhaps have a stretch, a yawn, and a glass of water. So thank you once more for joining me this week on Being Present. And I hope you explore this space a little bit more. And I'll see you next week when we explore the mind and being witness to our thoughts and the mind. See you then.